All right, my friends, welcome back to the Gunn Show podcast. As you can tell, we are not in the studio today, and that's the great gift of being unplugged. 2025, we are unplugged and we can go anywhere. And speaking of anywhere, I have chosen to go to the cold, cold tundra of the north. It is freezing outside, and even these guys laugh because they tell me this is the coldest we've had this year in a long time. It is negative temperatures outside, snow everywhere. My cameraman Cesar claims that he's happy about it. I love the snow. It's not that. Liar. He's a liar, I tell you. But we are unplugged. We are at Medfab today in Minnesota. I got three great friends with me today. I got Dan, Cory, and Tyler in that order. We're going to learn a little bit more about who they are, how they got here, what Medfab does from these sexy ass products on the table right here. And we're going to dive into a little bit of why I'm here as well, because it was through the great gift of Datanomix that I get to be here. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about our sponsors and thank each and every one of them. So let's go through the list. We're doing great these days, and thank you all for tuning in to the Gunn Show, getting extremely popular. We share this to over 150,000 subscribers on the MTDCNC channel and across Spotify, Apple, Google, and the MTDCNC website. So this is powered by MTDCNC, and we thank them for that. But also, we have to thank the AMT crew and IMTS, one of our major sponsors. We have to thank EBITDA Growth Systems, the consulting group that guarantees they'll double your profit within 3 years. You can't beat that for sure. Shop Pour Coffee, you got to thank them. Tecma down in Mexico, thank you for participating. We know your show is going to be amazing coming up in June, and the new location in Santa Fe, awesome, well done. NTMA, yes, we love those guys, and Roger, the American Precision Museum. If you haven't been up to Vermont to check them out, I highly recommend you do it. It's about an hour and a half away from the closest airport. And if you can't do it, head over to the YouTube channel from MTD, because we have an hour and a half full tour. You can embrace and immerse yourself in that entire show there. All right, did I get everyone? I think so. Oh, no, I didn't. Revelation Machinery. I saved the best for last. If you're looking to sell your machines so that the client buying and the seller selling both get extremely good deals and everyone wins, they handle all the logistics from shipping to buying to selling and everything in between. Revelation Machinery, we thank you also. And also, you're going to see the commercials throughout this thing anyway, so stay tuned for those. All right, I've talked enough now. Cory, we're going to start with you. The thing I love to do on this show is humanize manufacturing, because let's be honest, we make everything around us. We make the satellites in the sky, the cars that people drive, the planes that, gosh, let's not crash any more of those. You're scaring me out there, by the way. The planes that people are flying, the phones that we're so on like this all the time and not even communicating with each other anymore, and all these parts on the table as well that you're making. One of my favorite angles to always discuss is, as I'm getting older, I've already had knee surgery once from my soccer. I can feel my hips. I got to roll over at night now. My hip gets tired about every hour, and I got to switch to my other hip. Tyler, you'll get there eventually. Don't worry. It's us old folks talking right now. But the medical world and how it's evolved so much, though, that my surgery took a day or two to recover instead of a month or two, or even a year or two for some of those surgeries. And Medfab, I got a feeling we might get into that medical world, right? So we make everything around us, but we must humanize it, because if we just look at these cold parts, then we don't have any emotion behind it. We're trying to attract people out there that we have a 2 million person skills gap right now, if I'm not mistaken, with by 2030 looking to be double that. So we need to attract the attention of the young guys. So Tyler's not just a pretty face today. We're bringing him on to share his story and attract more people. But we're starting with you, Cory. I look at your card right here, President and CEO of Medfab, so I have to learn about you.
Well, thanks for being here, Tony. We appreciate you coming to the cold temps of sub-zero weather in Minnesota.
Can I come back in summer?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay.
Let's do it. We'll show you some fun in the 98 degree, 110% humidity, right?
I don't mind. I live in South Florida. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
You'll be good. So, well, no, I've got probably a little different background than you're used to coming into contact with. I started my career in a professional setting. My first degree I got from the University of Minnesota Medical School in mortuary science. So I've owned and operated funeral homes for the past.
He said first degree. I think there's more coming, aren't there? Sorry, Cory. You did what? Funeral homes? Is that what you said?
Yep. So I've owned and operated funeral homes for many years. I've been very fortunate. Even growing up as a kid, I had a very entrepreneurial spirit. You know, in school, started a school store, different things like that. And so I've been the funeral business has always been at the core. That's where I've officed. But I've been involved in retail startups, manufacturing and distribution startups, banking startup, number of different things. And then the other thing that I've really enjoyed is being able to step into companies that have hit a ceiling and figure out how to take them to the next level, build the right team, put the right processes in place, and see where we can go. Long story, I'll try to make it quick, but about 12 years ago, I found out that I have a ton of allergies, food and chemical allergies, the worst of which is my chemical allergy to formaldehyde.
Oh my.
So for a dozen years, I've had doctors chasing me out of the funeral home business, and I ignored them until 2019. My respiratory issues started getting worse. So in 2021, I started selling off some of my interests in the funeral business, and I found Medfab. Medfab wasn't for sale, but it was a nice mix for me of solving problems and building parts, and still lets me employ my knowledge of the human body. I've spent my whole life building 50s and 60s vintage classic cars and resto mods, street rods, and we build a lot of custom parts for those. And so this was a nice balance between my hobby and my professional knowledge, and it's been great. Medfab is a great company. In 2021, they were at a point where they had kind of hit a ceiling, and it's been fun for me to come in and work with Dan, brought Dan on board a couple years ago, and we've put a lot of good processes in place. We've made some key hires and getting the right people in the right seats, and we've got some fun things ahead.
Well, it is my job as the host of this show is to not just let you get away with telling me about this funeral home stuff and these allergies that have come. I have to ask about, I mean, we got Dan and we got Tyler, but I have to follow up on this. It'd be real rude for the audience if I did. They'd be like, Tony, why did you skip over all of that really interesting details just to jump into the manufacturing side, which I want to do, because is Medfab the first machine shop that you've dealt with?
Yes.
Okay, so I do want to get into that as well. All right, how did you get, why did you, okay, I have a curiosity about funeral homes because a couple years back I was like, I'm going to quit my jobs and I'm going to start, and I looked into it and it's way more difficult than I thought it would be. You have to get real certifications.
Yeah.
How did you get into the funeral home business?
So I grew up around the funeral business. My dad was first generation in our family.
Oh.
So I was around it from day one, and just realized, you know, growing up that I enjoy helping people, and funeral service, everybody thinks is about taking care of the dead, but really what we're there to do is help people heal. Everybody that's left behind, they need to experience certain emotions, and they need to go through a certain amount of interaction to start the healing process. And that's why we have funerals and memorial services, right? It forces people into those events that they might not be comfortable with, but it does a lot for them regarding how they heal. If you try to brush it under the rug and run away from it, you will not escape grief.
You'll get illnesses. That they say that every emotion we try to bury turns into a physical illness at some point or another.
Exactly.
It's very fascinating that you say that, because when I was considering navigating that world, it was very much because I wanted my funeral home, my imaginary funeral home, to be a celebration of life and not a sadness, right? I've always wanted my situation to be, everybody better be popping their bottles and pouring out for the homie and know that I've enjoyed everything about my life and to not be sad. So that was my idea. To hear you say that that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
So we do a lot of celebrations of life, but I always caution people, celebrate, right? Because there's a lot to celebrate, but don't overlook the hole that's left in your heart. right? And you need to give it the time and the attention that it deserves. And you're going to be sad, and you need to be sad. You can't escape it.
We're going to have to do a TED Talk after this. So I think
right.
you did say you're coming down to Florida, right? So you're going to pop over to Boca Raton.
Yep.
We'll dive into this a little bit more.
Yep.
Because I got two other handsome young men on this show.
That you were talking about, we'll have a couple.
Oh, I got a few of those. Believe me. I just got back from Mexico, and I dropped a few $1,000s on my collection of tequilas.
All right.
If that's
I
all right.
can't wait to come and sample.
Yes, sir. All right, I think we really could talk for the rest of the day, Cory, but then these two handsome young men would have joined us for nothing, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
So let's
you're pointing out that I'm the old guy.
We can all be young. We can all be young here. We're all about Tyler's age, I think. We won't actually say the years we were born, but we're all around that age, I think.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I'm not even going to go into the skin cleansing stuff because I don't know anything about it. So, Dan, all right, buddy. 2023, I believe, is when you came to Medfab.
Yep.
But your story doesn't start there for sure. And in fact, you and I have discussed this look that you have has actually come from German background. And we started about the same year of machining around 2000. So how did you get to where we are today?
Well, it's going to be a long story. Maybe not quite as in-depth as Cory's journey, but coming out of high school, no idea, like most, no idea what I really wanted to do.
In fact, I don't know why they make us decide what we want to do for the rest of our lives at 17 years old. It's ridiculous.
It is.
That's a different topic for a different day, but I agree with you. Yep. Why are they making every kid know what they want to do at 17? Hey there, manufacturers. Need to sell your surplus CNC machinery? Whether it's vertical machining centers, CNC lathes, or machines from top brands like Yazda, Matsur, or Watchon, let me introduce you to Revelation Machinery. If you've never worked with a used machinery dealer before, here's what you're missing. Selling equipment on your own can mean long waits, low offers, and lots of time chasing leads. Revelation Machinery changes the game, bringing nationwide exposure to your machines. Their team is located across the USA, so wherever you are, you've got a local expert on your side. Revelation doesn't just list your equipment, they use targeted marketing methods to get your machines in front of serious buyers. Revelation Machinery is committed to fair pricing, full transparency, and taking care of the details. From paperwork to logistics and even rigging if you need it, they're there every step of the way so you're not juggling any part of the process alone. Ready to let a trusted partner handle the heavy lifting? Head to revelationmachinery.com/The Gunn Show to see how easy it is to turn that surplus machinery into cash with Revelation Machinery.
Right. So I had an older brother that went into machining, and with no real thought process of direction, I said, yeah, I'm gonna try that too. Got into it, really enjoyed it. You know, taking a chunk of material, metal, plastics, whatever it might be, and turning it into something useful. I mean, that's a great feeling.
I agree.
So really enjoyed it. Did a couple of years of trade school, got that degree taken care of, and then joined a Minnesota local lawn mowing, snow blowing company. You can probably do some digging and figure out what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, started in 2000, so we kind of figured out we're probably in the same age bracket here, and started our careers the same way. Started machining, decided, yeah, this is a great career, but I had higher aspirations than that. Thought I was going to follow in the footsteps of my father, who, I'm going to wag a number a little bit here, but 35-ish years with 3M.
Okay.
You know, so one company, his entire career. I said,
wow.
that's what I want to do. And the company I was with, I thought, yeah, I could probably do it here. Went back to school. You know, they had a tuition reimbursement program, so took advantage of that. Why not, right? Worked my way up the ranks, became, I want to say at the time, they told me the youngest operations supervisor that they ever employed. So that was kind of a good feeling. Knew that I was on the right track, had some successes there, but time after time kind of felt I was hitting that wall of progression, and made the determination, you know, I think I've reached my ceiling, at least within the structure that was there at the time. Just with the feedbacks of always, you know, we're going to bring external in for these progressionary roles because we need these experiences at certain levels, and it was things that I was not going to be able to achieve myself while staying in that current role. And then to your German reference, that's when I got the opportunity to go to a German rotary lobe pump manufacturer, again local here, probably half hour from our location here. Spent another 8 years there as a production manager. Again, very grateful for that opportunity, very grateful for the opportunity Cory gave me, because it was, right, at least in the discussions we have, I'm going to speak for Cory here, that, you know, taking a person that wasn't already up here and trying to fill him into a role that he was looking for, but taking that person that was ambitious, still had a lot of that drive, and getting that next stage opportunity, you know, without already being there and kind of dropping into it. So I feel very grateful for those couple of stops here, giving me that opportunity to shine. But yeah, again, after about 8 years with that pump manufacturer, got to the point where I felt stuck in a rut, kind of capped out, or I think interviewing with Cory, I might have even said the word bored, right? And that's not a comfortable spot for me to be in. Boredom in the workplace is not what I strive for, right? I need something fresh. I need something that, again, Cory taking on new ownership here, and really, right, as he had mentioned, took a company that looked like it was kind of at its ceiling. Well, we both have talked at length about seeing the opportunity here. I mean, this is a company that, I mean, we're right there. We got to get over that hump, and it's going to blow up in a positive way for us here very shortly.
Is that why you chose Medfab? Is because you see something, that the potential?
Right. Twofold, I guess, to answer to that question. That would be number one, right? I needed to get out of that
boredom.
That rut,
we're going to use that word now.
That rut that I was in, and get back to a company where I can really help build it, right, to the visionaries' goals. And I think with my experiences, I was able to bring that. So knowing that it was going to be very impactful, that was step one. Step two is EOS, our core value system, and the way that we structure the business, or the way that Cory has structured his businesses, was kind of like, if I was ever on the fence, was just the direct push. Like, this is where you need to be. Basing everything on core values, right? There's something to be said about bringing in a skilled labor position with somebody that's super experienced. I've been doing this for 20, 30 years. But if you don't fit within the culture, if you don't fit within the structure of what we're trying to build here, it derails everything that we're trying to do. So hire, fire, develop, you know, promote based on the core value system that we're employing here.
Yeah, I think I relate that a lot to sports, and I do a lot of Premier League football, soccer, but you can do American football or basketball, whatever you want, right? And you can have a lot of the greatest players in the world on the same team, and they'll be rubbish if they're not working together.
Yep.
And I think obviously this situation is very similar to that, right? Tyler, don't worry, I'm gonna come to you in just a minute, but Cory, I wanna come back to you because you mentioned this is the first manufacturing facility you jumped into. Machining facilities. Yep. You're obviously a clever man and have done far more than I have, but when jumping into something like this, which might be a little bit different from the other projects you've had, what inspired you to get into this world? And then also, because we were just talking with Dan, how do you navigate hiring and firing in a little bit of a new world, and why someone like Dan seemed like a fit for you?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely a different world. And coming in, you have to come in very humble and realize.
Thank you for saying that.
And realize that there's a lot you don't know, right? And so spend a lot of time learning, asking questions. Why is one of my questions. Why are we doing it this way? Why? And learn. And you're going to learn from people that have the right answers. You're going to learn from people that think they have the right answers. And you have to sort through it all and figure out what's going to be the best. Why Dan? Dan fit the core values, right? I'll give you an example. We have an individual that's a machinist that we interviewed, and he was a pizza delivery driver. No machinist training.
I wanted him on this show, by the way, but I heard he was afraid, he didn't want to be on camera.
Little camera shot.
Oh, tell me the story.
But he fit our core values.
That's incredible.
And in my opinion, when we can fill a room or a manufacturing floor with people that share the same core values, things are going to work, right? You get the right people, and then you can train to the skill set that you need. But he's a great example, right? He came to us without the skills to really do the job, and we had enough people here with the right skills that could teach him, and within a couple of years he's groomed up to be a very skilled and great machinist.
For everyone listening and watching, I apologize, Cory. If you're making pizzas, you can run a Miano. Is that what we're learning today?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
So, so that's the short answer. Why Dan? He fit our core values. Obviously, he had some good experience that I thought was very appropriate. And Dan and I have clicked, and we're right hand, left hand sort of relationship, and it all works. And I firmly believe the reason for that is because our values align very well.
Yeah, very well said. I'm happy you started that whole thing out with humble. Humble. It's how I go into every filming I ever do. It's how I go into every trade show. I mean, not that I'm the precipice of how someone should compare this, but I can empathize with walking into a situation and feeling like everyone around me knows more about that situation than I do, and I want to ask why all the time.
And everybody's looking to you for all the answers.
Funny how that works,
and
isn't
it's
it?
like, I don't have them. And there's times you don't have all the answers, but if you start with people and you look at your processes, if people fail, look at the process first, because maybe the process is set up for them to fail. If your process is refined and they've been trained and they have the right resources to execute on it, then you need to look at your people or your person, right? So
see why you have run a few businesses successfully. I'm learning a lot from you already.
I don't know about that.
All right,
I don't know
Tyler.
how much there is to learn.
You're obviously older than the rest of us here, so your experience by far, right? By far. I mean, you can tell. So your experience must be far more vast than the rest of us, and story must be longer, right? I don't mind. I'll be happy to come back in 10 years. For now, though, I'm here, and this is your moment to shine. Maybe we can connect with some of the younger folks out there, because very obviously, as you zoom in, he is the youngest on camera by far. But I'm hoping that we can connect with some of maybe the other pizza makers out there, right? The ones that are spinning dough and maybe can hop into a machine shop and help us make things. Tell us about your journey.
Yeah, it's very similar to Dan's experiences and how he got into it. I didn't really have a direction on where I wanted to go. Started in business, going down that path, and then a little bit of science, and neither of those really jumped out at me. And one day manufacturing kind of just came right in front of me on my plate, and I'm like, I'd mess around with compound bows and firearms and tinker around with other things, so I just wanted to see what that had to offer, and I just ran with it, went to school, got a part-time job here, did both of those at the same time. Started off very basic, running very basic parts and machines and stuff like that, and progressed into the milling department where I was able to further my machining skills. And had a lot of good opportunities and a lot of people that taught me a lot of useful things. After that, I moved on and went into the quality department. So a little change of pace. It's a little different because typically those two departments butt heads a little bit.
You're trying to unite people, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll have you know that he went there on a temporary basis, and I promised him, just do this for me. It'll be temporary, and it's good learning. Now I think he likes it.
Do you like it?
A little bit, yeah. It's growing on me a little bit.
Now we're going to have to pry him out of there to develop him further in other areas.
Do you like it that much? You're going to get pride?
Yeah.
You like it in there, huh?
Yeah.
Quality department's fun. All right. So
it's a lot different than I expected it to be.
What did you expect?
Very critical and, I don't know.
Thorough and...
Well, it is, but...
Did you think it was going to be more monotonous?
Yeah, more monotonous. And
so you're our classic tinkerer, as we like to say in manufacturing. When we talk to the people out there who don't know what they want to do, like a lot of us don't, who should at 15, 16, 17? We always reach out to the tinkerers and the farm kids and, these folks who like to work on things, and you described yourself as that. But I want to take a moment when you said, I went into business and I went into science, and then you spun into manufacturing, and I want to take that and kind of describe a little bit more in detail that journey, because I would almost make, and I don't argue, so you know how people say, I'd make the argument, I make the discussion. I would make the discussion that a business degree these days is almost a generic degree, because everyone goes to school, spends their $100,000, walks out with a business degree because they don't know what they want, but they think a business degree can get them something, can get a door open for them. They just don't know where or what or how, right? They just know, I have a business degree and I'm going to do something with it. So what I want to try to describe is, as you were navigating your journey and your path of what made you happy as a tinkerer, I would like to try to connect with some of those business folks out there that might still not be happy even though they have their degree and might want to switch careers into manufacturing. What brought you joy in manufacturing that you didn't find in business, and why originally did you go into business and science as well?
Kind of like you said, business degree is very generic, and manufacturing to me really hit home because it felt like I had a purpose.
I like that.
Felt like I could help people, kind of like Cory had mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Manufacturing is very
and that's
tangible.
just how it connected with me.
Yeah.
I just felt like I could connect with other people through this type of work.
I'm in Windsor, Vermont today at the American Precision Museum, and I have the wonderful opportunity to show you the insides of a historical landmark from 1846.
So when I first heard about the American Precision Museum, I thought, all right, this is neat because it's history and it talks about the beginning of really the industry as I know it. But as I came to visit and got more involved and aware of the mission of the museum and what is really happening here, I got more excited because it's more than just a collection of machines. It's a place that really strives to inspire and educate people about manufacturing and precision manufacturing.
And Medfab, I can see some of the things that you're making. We have some on the table as well. And Dan, if you wouldn't mind kind of describing some of this, because I think it's a perfect segue of helping people, right? And I mentioned that I'm starting to become more broken, and how medical's kind of,
well, I think
my failed soccer career destroyed my body, so I could use some help. And I could, I'm already looking at that going, oh
So,
crap,
I
that's
gotta-
going to be in me soon.
I got to jump in and just give kudos to Tyler. And it's a good example of how Tyler fits our core values. Our core focus here, you wouldn't think it being a machine shop, but our core focus is helping people.
It's amazing.
And we can relate it to every job in the facility, how we're helping others. Not only because we're making medical parts, but we're helping engineers with design for manufacturability feedback. We're helping buyers be successful at their job by getting them what they want on time, of the right quality. And when our focus is on helping people, pretty much anything I've ever done where I've focused on helping others, it's worked.
You make me want to give you a hug.
So,
I feel my heart is happiest when I'm of service to others.
Yeah. And the rest
Absolutely.
of it comes around and pays you back in the end.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry to jump in, but
No, and if we want to pull
if you're going to say things like that, you can jump in anytime.
Yeah, we wanted to pull Datanomix into the discussion. Right, it's helping people. It's what I was describing as customer value adds. It's the delivery track expansion. It's the, right, you had mentioned buyer, or Cory mentioned buyer, right? Value adds, helping people. I mean, nothing's going to be more critical in that buyer's mind than that true partnership of wow, I'm getting communications when I didn't even ask for it, and it's telling me whether my schedule is going to be met or not, and what's the plan that's in place to bring it back on track or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, I agree. Understanding our shop and how we can do things to forecast all of the people we might work with, that is a being of service to help them do better as we're doing. I mean, to me, machine monitoring, to me, Datanomix is common sense, but as they say these days, common sense isn't quite as common as it once was. Because why wouldn't we want to spend a small amount to learn everything about a shop when we don't have to, let's say we hire someone at $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 a year, $100,000 a year to collect the same information. It's almost mind-blowing to not have it in every shop across the country.
It's interesting. You know, as you would imagine, some of our guys were a little bit feeling like, I wonder if this is going to be used as a tool to beat us over the head.
That's the first thought.
And, you know, the first thing that I wanted them to understand is Datanomix should be used as a tool to help you succeed. Because most people, all they want is to be successful, right? And so if this can be an early warning for you to raise your hand and get the help that you need, rather than trying to gut it out and falling further and further and further behind in whatever it is that you're working on that day, use the tool to help yourself. You know, and so it's been interesting to watch the shop embrace it and understand that we as leaders have not employed this software as a, you know, big brother looking over your shoulder. It's your system. You need to use it and make it effective to help yourself.
Yeah, it's not a tool like everybody thinks it is coming in. It's not telling any story about what Tony did today or is doing today. It's what Miano 1007 and its targeted processes do. And so I think that is the pain point, the change pain point that the machinists are going to feel when they hear machine monitoring is coming into your facility. It's, oh, all the eyes are going to be pointed at me. No, it's not the individual person measurement at all. You have the input to it, but is our process proper to what we've quoted to, and is our machinery capable of doing what we've quoted to? And it's like we've talked a million times, it's the real-time response that we can get when something goes off track.
In the days of my machining, we wasted. Machine monitoring maybe wasn't then where it is now. I'm kind of old. Sorry, Tyler. I know you're the oldest one here, but it's not where it is now. And I just remember how much time we spent. I won't say wasted because we had to do it, but time we spent trying to figure out the details of our shop, which I would still say with all the time we invested was probably 30% of the truth, based on what that gives us immediately and moving forward. I mean, again, it just, so Tyler, were you, you're in quality now, right?
Yep, correct.
Were you in the machining side of things when Datanomix was implemented?
No.
Okay, I was gonna get the personal
Little
on the
insight.
shop floor perspective
Yeah.
as well. Where's my pizza guy? Is he still
Yeah.
shy of camera? Can we bring him on? see how he thinks about it? All right, so let's talk about some of these parts. We talked about service. We talked about Medfab a little bit and having these core values and working together. We've gotten all sorts of different perspectives. Let's talk a little bit about Medfab. Let's be shameless promoters of ourselves for a little bit and talk about what you guys make.
Sure. We brought a small array of capability and product to try to tell a story. I know, Tony, you had opened up your discussion about a knee surgery, so I immediately was drawn to a bone screw. Right, so in any of those surgical procedures, something like that is what's going to hold you back together.
I ripped all the cartilage in my knee, and they needed to scrape it.
Okay,
Can I
so
tell
different.
you? Yeah. Well, I'm gonna need that soon. I'm sure.
Eventually.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you a super quick story. So playing basketball and soccer, tore it all to pieces. The first doctor told me, your knee's okay. It's just a sprain. If you're tough enough to play on it, you can. So I did for 9 months. When I finally got my knee surgery from never getting better, my surgeon told me it was the most splintered cartilage he had ever seen. I said, that's because they told me I could play on it. And they just removed, actually to this day, and this might sound weird to people out there who have had surgeries, I don't remember which knee it was. Neither one is worse than the other. I don't have any like after effects, and because it was done microscopically, there's not even a scar. So I think it was my left knee, but honestly, it was done 20 some years ago and I can't even remember. All right, more parts.
Good
more
procedure. Good procedure. Good doctor.
Good procedure, good doctor is right.
So did you pull one of those out and look closely at that?
I did. I absolutely
Pretty amazing.
Oh, you're not
isn't it?
gonna see it.
That's
You're not
why I
gonna see
moved
it
it
on
to the
camera.
forefront. Yeah, there's.
So that's actually, Tony, that's 3 components in an assembly.
I'm gonna get up for this one, and I'm gonna get my cameraman to zoom in on camera. I'll use this camera, just zoom in. Can you see that by chance?
Those holes are the same diameter as a typical human hair.
Can you guys describe this while I'm showing the audience what they're looking at?
That is that plugs the hole in a baby's heart.
That's
So-
incredible.
It acts like a ball joint, basically.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's
Plugs
pretty
a
amazing.
hole in a baby's heart. Okay, did you get this right on the first try? And what machine are you using to make it? And did you have to go through quality inspection for this?
I didn't personally do
Oh
that
my
one,
gosh,
no.
it's so small.
He said they've taken a couple orders recently of things that were developed a few years back. So he's done some final inspection on it, but
Yeah.
Swiss, I mean, naturally, we're getting into micro, so it's Swiss, as we're seeing in the background here. Yeah, I mean, we can produce parts that are more microscopic than that. So if you're wowed by
But
that,
then I
you can
couldn't
wow-
show them on the camera, could I?
Well, here's a good representation. That piece is down here.
If we
So
can
this
see it.
Okay.
is in scale to a dime. That's the piece you're looking at. I know they probably can't see it because Dan's blocking it, but yeah, compared to a dime, some pretty
Wow.
small parts.
Yeah, I mean, there's, right, naturally, and Tyler can speak to this. Obviously, you're going to have to zoom in on the camera to see something like that. Well, now, put yourself in Tyler's shoes. Now he's got a spec drawing to make sure that this meets the spec. So we've got state-of-the-art vision systems to allow us to be able to do those sort of things.
So let's get Tyler to talk a little bit more. I know this is his moment of fame, you know, when he walks away from here. I'm not sure if you have a girlfriend or not, or in a relationship, but
He's got the prettiest wife in the world.
oh yeah? Well,
She
you got to
happens
show
to
this
be my
video.
daughter.
Oh, well, I guess that's why you... All right. I'm getting ready to put my whole foot in my mouth. With this is a family situation going on.
Yeah.
And now I see why you asked for a favor for him to move, and now he's going to have to move again. Okay, let me put all these puzzle pieces together. All right, so you're married to the prettiest woman on the planet.
Yep.
They're probably
Other than
the
my wife.
nicest and the sweetest. Yeah, make sure you throw that in there as well, Cory. I forgot where I was going with that now. Oh, it was because you were going to be famous and all the ladies were going to love you. Anyway, all right, let's get back to the point. All right, you are measuring some of this tiny, tiny stuff, but you say you enjoy your job. Do you like the small ones as well, and how do you go about it meticulously?
Poses a challenge for sure. Going about it mainly is how are you going to hold it, and what equipment do you need to measure that small of a part. You need equipment that's able to get down to that micro scale and give you 5 decimal places out in tolerance, what you're looking for. So it definitely poses a challenge when it starts getting smaller, because now you got to try to figure out how you're going to hold it. Very small parts, it's hard to hold in place and
Be repeatable.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I think, kudos to Tyler and Charles, not in here with us today, but our quality director. They work hand in hand and really well. Right, you can't validate a process by just randomly selecting and throwing a component on a measuring device and, hey, I got a reading, so that's what I'm going to get. It has to be a well thought out, if a fixture needs to be made, a fixture needs to be made for that repeatability, right? So it's not just Tyler in there, hey, I can get this measurement. No, it's the process is developed so Jimmy can come, do that same thing, and get the same result.
He's an engineer, traveler, author, speaker, podcast host, and recently tried to go surfing in a hurricane. But will you please make us feel very welcome, Mr. Tony Gunn.
Thank you so much. How many in here love social media marketing? Whether we like it or not, that is how we reach other people. That is how we grow our businesses. That is how we inspire the next gen. We have a generational situation. This time frame is moving so quickly that what's happened is folks like myself and a little bit older than me, we have one kind of way of working. We like to work. We put our heads to the grindstone, But there's a generation of folks right now that have the information at the palm of their hands all the time, and they can figure it out within seconds. And that generation learns differently.
Yeah, it's one thing to be able to get the measurement one time, but to try to do it repeatedly over a course of 6 months.
And repeatedly with any person that goes in there.
Yeah. Yep.
And is that part of your job as well?
Yep.
Making sure that everything can be streamlined in that way?
Yep.
What's his next project? Where are you moving him to next?
I'm not at liberty to disclose that yet.
Yeah. Want me to stop recording real quick and then start it back up again?
I got to tell you, because you'll appreciate this, Tyler has been a part of our family since he was in high school, and he has always been willing to jump in and try something new. He's delivered caskets, he's set up burial vaults, he's managed the bowling side of one of our entertainment facilities. So, he will jump in and take direction and go after whatever is needed. And I think it's one of the things that led you to finding what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Because you got to see some variety of stuff.
Right.
So if you have a younger audience out there, I would encourage them, try different things. Go out, get different part-time jobs, get exposed to as much as you can, because you're going to find something you love. Don't just pick one thing and stay there forever. Figure it out. Figure out where work has to be at least 50% fun, right? It's never going to be all fun.
That is incredible. That's what I love about doing podcasts, is I get to learn so much more about people than just having a quick high five and then moving on about my life. I would have never known that about you, Tyler, from high school and trying. Okay, so is this currently your favorite? Because I think bowling would have been fun.
Bowling was fun.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of good team members there, so that made it a lot of fun. But by far this has been the most challenging.
And you probably like a challenge.
Yeah.
And would you also, okay, I know you would recommend it because you're here now, but along this journey, what makes you so willing to dive in to try something brand spanking new? Has it always been just in your DNA growing up, you're willing to try things, or as you started trying things, you realize that you get to learn more, or something that I'm not even thinking of right now?
No, I think that falls in the right line of, I just like to learn new things, and there's a lot of hobbies that I pick up along the way too, that I like water skiing, never did that my entire life, and then started doing that 6-7 years ago. So there's other hobbies and things that I pick up along the way that I just enjoy learning new things and progressing in them.
We keep talking about value adds. So business and a journey like Tyler's, right? If you're in the work setting, he's creating all kinds of value add for himself as an individual for bigger, better things.
I have one more question for you before we slide back over to these young men.
Sure.
Do you like your father-in-law?
I do.
Not on the spot or anything.
No. Right answer. No, he's provided me with a lot of good opportunities in life, so.
All right, guys, we're gonna not necessarily wrap this up, but we're gonna head in the direction of wrapping this up, as I believe we've been talking for a long time at this point. So, Cory, I'm gonna start with you.
Yep.
This is a new venture.
Yep.
What does the future hold? You're obviously an entrepreneur that likes to figure things out, be of service to others, and see what happens next. Also, along with this, is your health doing okay now?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. What does the future of Medfab look like? What are you looking to grow this into as you're acquiring, some amazing people and training for the future, obviously?
Yeah. So Medfab is now at the point where we've spent enough time working on the foundation, processes, people, and we're stepping on the accelerator at this point. So what I really want for Medfab, because we can produce some great things, I mean, we touched on just a couple, that all of these items make a significant impact in other people's lives. And I want to take this much farther than it is right now. We've got some aggressive growth plans. We are more than a machine shop. We're a contract manufacturer. We have partnerships that we can depend on so that our customers can manage one vendor when they're managing Medfab, and we can bring them everything they need, from molding to additive printing to machining to laser services, whatever. So we've built some great relationships and partnerships out there, and we're going to continue to be the best vendor to our customers that we can be, which is going to help us grow the recognition of the Medfab name. And obviously we're going to keep working on getting our next pizza delivery driver that we can train into being a great machinist or some other role within the company. We'll continue to hire on core values, and we'll continue to have people that enjoy coming to work and being with each other, and we'll continue to invest in each one of them to grow them in their career to where they want to get to. As Medfab grows, we need to grow our people, and there's going to be a lot of opportunity for that.
Yeah, very well said.
I want Medfab to be a destination employer. And we're going to do that by taking care of our people and reinvesting in our people.
Have you met or talked with my good friend Jack Russell by chance, another Datanomix user who is very, very similar to you? Came from the automotive world, ran a lot of different things, and ended up buying his shop, very similar reasons to you. I'm going to introduce him to you. I think you two would instantly be best friends.
Yeah.
He took a shop from a couple $100,000 to a multi-million-dollar shop. He's growing something. He's over in Michigan, not too far away. I really think you two would connect on a beautiful high level.
That'd be great.
The second thing is, is there anything you can think of that I can do to be of service to Medfab to help you reach that next level? Because I'm happy to help as well.
Just a continued, relationship, and I think as long as we're all working together and trying to get to the same common goal of promoting manufacturing and promoting the growth of people around us, as long as we all stay focused on that, the rest will fall into place.
I think a key there, Tony, is Medfab. We're not Medfab machine shop. We're not Medfab CNC part manufacturer. We're Medfab Precision Solutions, right? That's the key thing for you to take out of here with you is we offer all that value add. It's not, yes, there's a lot of highly technical, beautiful specimens of machining work out here, but we're your one-stop solutions provider.
Well said. And I was moving over to you next anyway before closing this thing out with Tyler. Let's talk a little bit about the next steps for you personally, but also I'd like to talk, because you and I made a video today, which I was excited about where you see your relationship with Datanomix as well, and what we've created internally to partner with them and make, let's say a dream opportunity for a lot of your partners out there being of service again.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we're relatively early in our implementation of Datanomix. I mean, just months into our journey here, and it's very encouraging that their CEO was able to recognize a passion and a direction that an individual customer had for his product, to want to partner and develop the next thing and how these all come together and produce, in our dream world, this customer notification portal. So yeah, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think the partnership with Datanomix, right? Yes, this is going to be a long-term project, but okay, then what's the next thing? Let's keep branching this off and make it the best thing for us, because Datanomix is very versatile in customizing to their ability to what individual customer needs are. But let's keep branching that off and make it better and better, and again, more value add, not just to us, but future offerings to other prospects.
Yeah. And how about yourself?
For myself, well, I plan to be here for a while.
That's the right answer. You see this guy right here, he's sitting right beside you.
I do.
That's what he wants to hear.
I plan on him being here for a while too.
So the one thing I can say, the boredom's not here.
No, you're not bored anymore.
No, we've got plenty of things in the hopper, plenty of things in the current state. Like I say, partnerships with companies like Datanomix. I mean, there's just so much good going on, and yeah, I might have to step outside once in a while and take kind of that sanity break, but I'm never bored. so that's a good feeling, and we're accomplishing such good things. And again, I think we just scratching the surface of the potential of Medfab and its people.
This is Shop Rescue.
Hello, my name is Peter Hancock. I'm the president and founder of Professional Employment Group here in Denver, Colorado. We were excited to partner with EBITDA Growth Systems. We really want to make sure we're successful, because if our clients are successful, we're successful. And we know there's a journey with talent, but also when times are tough, helping them get through tough decisions and bringing in other partners if we can't be the right solution for them. But if we educate them and show them that their jobs are secure, even with more robotics or more technology, they will want to stay with us and not be afraid to go into another industry. But we need to get them excited about the industry and show them that we'll hold their hand to bring them up to the talent needs we need. There are great partners out there in the industry that can truly help make your job easier and make you look more professional.
Amazing. All right,
and we've
Tyler.
put together a great leadership team.
If you do say so yourself.
Well, it's just, we all work together well and click, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hard work, but there's fun involved with it. So it's great.
You mentioned that earlier, and in my head, I immediately remember the statistic of how much time we spend at our jobs versus even our own families, and how important it is to do something that brings our hearts joy, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, other than, if you think about your awake hours, not sleeping hours, but awake hours, we're with these folks more than we are our own families.
Yep.
We better have fun.
Exactly.
We better enjoy we better go home in bed and be grateful for the job that we did that day. Anyone who's out there miserable, just, there's lots of opportunities. Don't just go home, unless you're a person who just loves misery, which some people do. They prefer to go home mad at life. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge. All right, Tyler, we're gonna close this thing out with you, and I don't want to say I'm gonna beg you, but I'm gonna maybe inspire you to offer a message from your perspective to other people your age out there who are unsure of what they want to do, and invite them into manufacturing, because we could darn sure use them, but through your perspective. So you don't have to actually say, come join me, but give them a piece of your insight through what you've done and all the different avenues working with this young man and his creativity as you found yourself here, and why people out there might want to give it a try.
I mean, the biggest thing with me personally is that it really helped me find an avenue because of helping people. But other people, I went to school with a couple other folks, and they kind of came from the same background that I did, where they didn't know what they wanted to do, but they were really good with tools and mechanical things and tinkering. One of them was a race car driver, and I think what brought them to machining was, one, the unknown. I don't think a lot of people understand what's in manufacturing. But it's very closely related to tinkering and all those types of things. But yeah, I guess that's all I've got.
I think there's a lot of folks, certainly around the world, but also in this country, that are doing something, because we've talked about boredom, doing something mundane. Oftentimes we think about a cubicle, where their cubicle is spliced with their family photos, but it's rinse and repeat, right? You go in, you do your job on a computer, whether it's coding or graphics or whatever it might be, and you rinse and repeat day in and day out. And maybe the first 6 months to a year, even 2-3 years, was exciting. It's what we wanted to do, but a cubicle can be a suffocating place. So for me, you started this off, Dan, by saying, I'm turning something, I believe it was Dan, it could have been you as well, but I'm turning a piece of raw material into something tangible. Yeah, something that can be used, something that brings value to people's lives, or even value to the individual part that didn't used to exist whatsoever. So for me, that's what I miss about when I was doing manufacturing, and that's what I want to inspire to everyone listening out there, is it's never too late to switch. Going back to my buddy Jack Russell, by the way, he had a lady in there who came from UPS or delivery service, and had been doing it for 15 years. She wasn't a young lady. I would never say old, but she wasn't a young lady, and she came in and she was the shop floor manager. Another young man came from the electrician world, where he was working on wires all the time, jumped into. So what I'm trying to say is, whether you're as young as this young man or seasoned like us, it is never too late. If you are upset, angry, sad, bored, tired of your current career, Dan said it best, we are not bored here, are we?
Nope. Not at all.
The other thing I would add, just, watching Tyler, watching some of the other guys, is, yeah, they're producing something, but producing it well and to spec depends on their intelligence and their ability to see what's happening and make adjustments along the way. So there's some meaning in that, I think. I see the pride in some of my guys when, something's going out of spec and they're trying to figure it out and they're making adjustments, and when they get it, they're prideful.
Very proud.
And so that's, I think, maybe somewhat unique to machining world, but it's important. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are in other roles that would feel that same pride in this sort of a role.
I think I just want to chime in with one more thing. To that younger crowd, to the people that may be looking for a career change or they don't know what they want to do when they grow up, kind of situation. I had this interesting story about when I was with the pump company, partnering with a local school district in developing a machine trades program, right? Because a lot of high schools, that's not even an option anymore. So they're not getting the exposure that they need. Machining, right? It's cool nowadays. There's automation. We just did the video sitting in front of a robot, right? There's automation, techie stuff. It's cool. It's not sitting in front of a manual Bridgeport anymore. So there is, right, there's technology, there's a cool aspect. It's lucrative, right? If that's what you want to do, you can make a heck of a living doing it. And they wanted me to speak to the kids at the school about my career path, right? Because if you want to eventually one day have the seat that I have here with Cory and his leadership team, going to school for, right out of high school for that business degree, whatever kind of degrees you want, there's no chance that guarantees you a seat at this table. But my process that I went through of doing the machining, continuing to educate yourself, continuing to develop, and what I could say I'm halfway through my career to make it to this seat, right? But I don't think I'm fully fulfilling this seat if I didn't go through that journey to understand what this seat is managing. And so I know that was one of my big hang-ups throughout my career at the machining level, was people trying to dictate and tell me what to do that didn't know what they were doing in that process to begin with, right? And I think that's discussions Cory and I had before me joining here, and that's a value add that he's seen. And I knew one day that's going to pay off for me, and thankfully it did sooner than later. But right, it doesn't have to be, I don't know what I want to do, so naturally I just have to go to a 4-year college and be in debt for the next 20 years trying to get this degree. That, am I going to step right into this role? Probably not. I'm going to backtrack into something lower paying, and now I'm in debt for how long? Simple trades degree, not very expensive, gets you right into the workforce, making decent salary as you're progressing and developing yourself to get to that next level.
Yeah, and then keep reinvesting in yourself. I went back to college at 38 years old.
So like last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty close.
Yeah. My math is usually mathing really good. All right, guys, we're going to close this out. Just
Awesome.
a final statement. If you want it, you don't have to have it. If you don't want it, Tyler, any final statements?
No, just need more young people out there.
Yes, we
Start
do. Did you
joining
have
them.
fun today?
I did.
Yes. See? It's okay to be on camera. Cory, any final statements?
Are you going to finish the Tony Gunn show by showing off the guns like you said?
I don't have any.
Oh, come on. I thought that's what this
I
is all
don't have any. That's the problem.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Dan?
I mean, appreciate you coming out and joining us, doing this for us. Like I say, the big takeaways we want out of here: precision solutions, right? Medfab's more than what you're seeing on this table. That's our core competency, but we offer a lot more value to the customer. And I think that the piece about career path and development is very important for the young generation, that there's many different avenues to get to where you want to be in life, but you got to put some efforts in.
Well said, well said, well said, well said. Thank you all for being a part of the Gun Show today.
Yep.
Do we want to drop a website? Do we have it on here? What's your website?
It's medfabinc.com. So,
Medfabinc.com. MEDFABINC.com. That almost sounds like a song. M-E-B-N. Anyway, all right. We are done with the Gun Show for today. This is Medfab. This is Unplugged. This is Tyler, the oldest one on the show today, Cory and Dan, and myself, Tony. Thank you all for watching, listening, wherever you are, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you are. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any comments, feedback, please leave it for us. We always want to improve, do better, and make sure you're getting the information you want. Me personally, I love the show today. You guys are so fascinating, and I think we could do this for another 5 or 6 hours, and I still would have more questions. But we're done. We're done for today. And I'm going to go play in the snow now.